Hi, we are group 4. Our component of fitness is muscular strength and endurance. And today we're going to be discussing the ACSM push-up test. My name's Morgan Losey.
My name is Danielle Willanen.
I'm Madison Hinton.
I'm Zachary Goodman.
I'm Jeffrey Rosé.
All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about muscular strength.
So muscular strength is the maximum amount of force that a muscle group can exert at a time. Muscular strength may not be repeated due to its high amounts of intensity by nature. So we're talking higher weight, high effort. Our example that we're using is a 1 rep max bench press, since you can't repeat a 1 rep max since it's the most that you can handle in a certain bout. Next, we're going to talk about muscular endurance.
Okay, muscular endurance is the ability to hold or repeat a muscle contraction over an extended period of time. An example of this would be push-ups or squatting for multiple repetitions. In this presentation, we'll be discussing the ACSM push-up test. It's a basic fitness test used by coaches, trainers, and athletes to assess the upper body functions. Your chest, your arms, and your abdominal muscles are the muscles that are targeted when you perform the test. Your pectoral muscles are responsible for the movement of your shoulder joints. The deltoids are responsible for the contraction of your anterior fibers and rotating the arm. And abdominal muscles assist in breathing and provide posterior support. Next, we will discuss our warm-up.
So for our warm-up, the way we're going to do this is we're going to start by raising the body temperature to prepare for the test. So we'll be doing jumping jacks. It's a basic and convenient exercise that you can do almost anywhere. We're going to do 10 to 15 repetitions just to warm up. Next, we're going to focus on warming up the stabilizer muscles, which are going to be our front and rear deltoids, which are located in our shoulder socket. This is going to be 30 seconds forward of shoulder rotations and 30 seconds backwards. As you can see on the left side, I do have pictures and diagrams of the exercises. Next, we're going to do floor push-ups for 10 repetitions. This is going to warm up the motor pattern that we're going to be using for the test, which is a push-up with an easier progression. This will also warm up the pectorals, triceps, and deltoids, which are your pressing muscles and also your stabilizing muscles. As a reminder for this warm-up is that you should probably take between 30 seconds to 45 seconds break. It can be upwards of a minute or even 2, depending on how fast you're recovering from each workout or from each exercise. This is a warm-up, not a workout. So this is strictly to prep your body for the test. Next, we're going to actually have Danielle show you the warm-up and run through it.
All right, here we have a video of you guys. This is me running through. So as we go through it, I'll kind of explain what we did. In the video, I don't take the 30 to 45 second breaks because I didn't want to have you guys have to like sit through and just watch me stand there. But as Zach said, this is a warm-up. So take the break, completely catch your breath before you move on to the next thing. You know, it's not a rush, it's not a competition. It's just to get your blood flowing a little bit and make sure your muscles are active so we don't pull or tear anything performing the ACSM push-up test. So here's the video of me doing the actual warm-up that Zach explained. Again, starting with the 15 jumping jacks. I only take a quick break here. Again, please take as long as you need. Moving on to the about 30 seconds of forward arm circles. Transitioning into 30 seconds of backward arm circles. Again, rest as long as you need. Next thing we're going to do is a couple of push-ups. I know the test is a push-up test, but this is the best way to get all of those muscles activated. So again, Zach said 10 push-ups. I did 5 here in the standard position, as well as 5 in the modified position. We will explain all of those positions more as the presentation goes on. But just for the warm-up, so you guys have it, there is a demonstration for you of that standard position and the modified position. So feel free to do whatever position you need to do that feels comfortable for you. And that completes our warm-up. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about the actual equipment that you're going to need or want to have to perform the ACSM push-up test.
Okay, so today we have both ideal and modified equipment. So I'm going to get into the ideal first. The ideal equipment or materials people should use for taking the ACSM push-up test are a mat or flat cushion surface.
The modified version of this would be any soft or firm surface that you can use. This is mostly for comfortability.
And then next we have one timer to measure the amount of time it took to complete full push-ups without stopping.
Our modified version of this would just be a simple phone timer. We figured that this would be the most applicable to everybody since majority of us have phones. A simple phone timer on your iPhone would be a great choice if you didn't have like a clock or somebody to hand time you.
And then last but not least, a handheld counter to see how many push-ups were completed.
So while this isn't necessarily convenient or ideal, keeping track of the repetitions in your head is probably the best modification that you can do for this. It's obviously going to be easier if you have someone that can handheld count for you, but just keeping track in your head is a perfectly fine way to track how well you're doing. So next, we also decided to throw in a suggested or extra equipment. We decided to use, we thought that it would be good to use a item underneath your chest as a reference point for your elbow angle should be. As we talked about, the elbow angle should be about 90 degrees for the push-up. So we decided using a ball or like a block or pretty much anything that's, not too hard and also gives you, a good reference point to keep your elbow at 90 degrees. So next, we're actually going to talk about how we can perform this and go in more depth about, the arm angle and then also just a simple push-up.
All right, so I'm sure everyone has a background knowledge of how a push-up is supposed to be performed, and I'm sure most people know the correct way to perform a push-up. However, when you're never taught the correct way to do something, sometimes you just do what you think is right, and it may not be the right way. So we're going to go through and really tell you guys the correct positions that you should maintain and be using when you are doing the push-up test. Performing the actual push-up is the same for both males and females. However, there is a difference in the form that we use between the males and females. Beginning with the males, what you're going to do is go into what everyone knows as a high plank. So this is arms shoulder width apart, hands, palms flat on the ground. You want your hands right beneath your shoulders. You don't want to be planching over too far. You don't want to be leaning back. Everything should have nice angles. Your pressure points for the males are going to be on your hands as well as on your toes. So again, that standard high plank position, our weight bearing points are hands and our toes. For the females, the only difference is our weight bearing points are now our hands and our knees. So again, arms, you want about shoulder width apart, hands right underneath your shoulders, but then instead of tucking your toes under and having the weight point as your toes, instead you're going to go ahead and bend your legs, and your knees and your hands are going to be your weight bearing points. Something to think about while you're in this position is that we want to have a straight line. So for males, this means a straight line from head to toe. For females, this means a straight line from head to knees. So females, it's more your upper body, males, it's your whole body. Some things to also keep in mind. We don't want our head to sag. We don't want our head to stick up. We don't want our butt to sag. We don't want to stick our butt up in the air. So again, that goes along with the maintaining that straight line, but a lot of times that line is broken with your butt being up or down or your head being up or down. So to actually perform the test, the main things to think about is your arm angle. So when you're up, your arms should be completely straight. When you're down, you want to have a 90-degree angle in your elbow. So just up and down, straightening the arms and getting that 90 degrees. As far as completing the test, your max number of reps is when rest is taken. So this is where that timer can kind of come into play, because if you're doing a push-up consecutively every, let's say, 3 seconds, and then you miss at 3 seconds because you're just holding a high plank, that's rest. So that would mark completion of the test. The other thing that marks completion is the inability to perform push-ups with the correct technique, 2 repetitions. So you do have one kind of free shot to miss a push-up, not quite get that 90 degrees. Maybe your chest completely hit the floor. You have one chance where that's okay. However, if you do it a second time, that completes your test. The next thing you're going to do is record that value and compare it to the norm. We talked about in modified equipment how if you don't have someone to stand there and actually use a handheld timer and count it, it can be kind of hard to remember the number. Zach mentioned counting in your head. You can also count out loud. I know that works well for me. It doesn't work for everyone. But if you're doing those push-ups and you want to count out loud, when you're done, make sure you record that value so you don't forget. And then we're going to talk about the norm table in just a minute. So after that, write down your norm or write down your values and compare them to the norms. Next thing we're going to go into is an actual video demonstration of the ACM push-up test.
So here we do have both videos for males and females. Before I press play, Danielle's just going to go over the key points just one more time. So for the males, if you just want to.
Again, for the males, your your pressure points are in your hands and in your toes. So it's that high plank position that we all know and love. Pressure points, hands and toes, maintaining that straight line from the head to the toes. So our butt is completely flat, our head is neutral, and our whole body is moving as one. So nothing is out of line, we're being a straight line.
All right, here we go. Here we can see that he's getting on his hands and his feet, putting his toes back there. Then he starts down, he goes up, extending his arms, back down, making that 90-degree angle. You can see that his body is straight from his head to his toes. And then he's just going to keep on going until he either can't do the correct technique or needs to rest. So that was for the males, once again on his hands and his toes. And then Danielle's just going to go over a few key points for the females.
Females, main difference is our pressure points are hands and our knees instead of our hands and our toes, where we saw that in Zach's demonstration. So Maddie's demonstration here, this is showing us the pressure points in our hands and our knees. Again, maintaining that straight line. This time, however, it's only from your head to your knees. So it's mainly a straight line in the upper body, whereas the males is a straight line through the whole body.
All right, here's this video. So as you can see, her hands and her knees are on the ground. Her feet are also on the ground. She starts down and goes up, extending her arms, pushing up, back down, creating that 90-degree angles in her arms. Then she's going to continue. As you can see, she has that straight line throughout her upper body. And then once she can no longer continue and needs rest or technique is lacking, they can stop, record the data, and compare it to the normative values that we are going to look at next. Oh. I just want to keep playing. There we go. Sorry.
So for the normative values that we're going to be specifically focusing on is the 20 to 29-year-old category, since that's what majority of our class age is. So for excellent, in the excellent category, this is going to be like the highest that you would go for. For males, it's going to be 36 reps. For women, it's going to be 30 reps. For very good, it's going to be 35 reps for men, 29 for women. For good, that'd be 28 reps for men, 20 for women. For fair, it would be 21 reps for men, 14 reps for women. For needs improvement, it would be 16 reps for men, 9 reps for women. And then also what you can tell is a trend is every about decade of age, the maximum are going to go down. So from 20 to 29 years old, 36 reps would be excellent for males. In the 30 to 39 age, it would be 30. So it drops by 6 reps. And then you see that trend continue. So from 40 to 49 for excellent, it would be 25 for men. 50 to 59, it would be 21 for men. And then 60 to 69 would be excellent. It would be 18 for men. And so what you'd see is starting at 20 to 29, you have 36 reps, and that's actually cut in half by the time you're in your 60s. So it goes to show that as you age, you are going to decrease in the amount of reps, but the normative values and the test actually progresses with you. So you know exactly where you're at in your age range. So next we're going to talk about why are upper body muscles important. So the test that we're using is the push-up test. And so this is going to measure muscular endurance, not muscular strength, because muscular endurance you can repeat, whereas muscular strength is only one bout. The upper body muscular endurance is important to have because it increases your ability and efficiency at pushing and pulling, which are basic movements that you would do every day. So for example, pushing a door open or pulling a door open are both basic movements that you want to have a great ability and efficiency as you age to make life just easier. Next, having a strong upper body increases range of motion and mobility and resilience of the shoulder socket, which decreases risk of injury. So what we talked about earlier was the shoulder socket being comprised of your deltoid muscles. So having a stronger upper body is going to decrease your risk of injury and also make you more flexible. Lastly, a strong upper body can also mean improved posture, which will help you function better late in life. So if you have a strong upper body, it keeps basically all of your muscles where they need to be. It keeps you moving efficiently. And over time, this is going to pay huge dividends for people that want to age well and want to be moving well when they're in their 60s, 70s. So upper body muscles are very important to develop. Next, we're going to talk about the pros of the ACSM push-up test.
Thank you, Zach. And of course, it is a fitness test, so there are going to be some positives to it. For example, the ACSM push-up test improves muscular endurance in the upper body. This is the ability to repeat efforts. It also improves muscular strength in the pectorals, the triceps, and the front deltoids. Using the deltoids, for example, if you're feeling that burn, then you know they're getting their workout. Your muscles are developing, and I mean, it's a good sign. Push-ups are an effective exercise that can be done anywhere, as it's not a test dependent on equipment. And next, we have cons of the exercise. Maddie?
Okay, so performing the test, you have the ability to lose count easily. There's no metronome provided like we had one provided in the curl-up test. You are performing the push-ups at your own pace, so you can lose your count easily. Performing the push-up test requires you to push yourself. So having to exert yourself causes people to start to use poor form or posture, which will result in injuries. And last we have if you don't exercise often, you might not be as motivated to do well. So that will affect your results once you compare them to the norm. Next, we are going to talk about the populations that this test is appropriate for and not appropriate for.
Here you can see our little injured orange guy, and we don't want that to happen to anyone. So we're just going to talk about who should participate in this test and who should not. First of all, the people that the test is appropriate for is really anyone that wants to test their upper body strength. So their strength in their arms, chest, core, see where they're at, if they want to improve their strength or if they're doing great. Additionally, this test is good for athletes and anyone who really enjoys working out. It's really just one of your basic exercises that it helps your upper body, and you can use it to test your strength. And then Jeff is going to talk about who the test is not appropriate for.
So the test is not appropriate for anyone with past or present shoulder, arm, or back injuries. It is extremely crucial that you are aware of what your body is able to do. For example, be sure to stretch and follow the warm-up carefully. If there is any pain, just stop. But all in all, monitoring your arm and back pain is very important before running through this push-up test. And next, we are going to get into the first developmental activity.
So the first developmental activity we have is the Up Sally, Down Sally push-up challenge. You want to play the song Flower by Moby on YouTube. And when the song instructs you to bring Sally up, you will push up. And when it says bring Sally down, you'll come down. And you want to remember to keep your abdominal muscles tight so you can feel that burn. You continue to do this throughout the whole song. And once you completed the whole song, you will have performed at least 30 reps. And you are able to use the modified version once you are performing this activity. Our next activity is the plank, the side walking plank.
So for our second developmental activity, we have the side walking plank. Thank you, Maddie. If you feel a burn at all in your shoulders, like I said before, your muscles are developing. So first, get into the standard push-up position with your arms locked. Now hold that position and slowly take 10 steps to the left using your arms and your legs. Now do the same thing going to the right. Focus on keeping your core tight and repeat this 2 more times after the first set is complete. And next up, we have the equipment for the developmental activities.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're
So
welcome.
our first developmental activity, the Sally up, Sally down push-ups. All you really need is space to do this. You can do it really anywhere, any room of your house, outside. You need a flat surface that you can do your push-ups on. And you also need a device to play the song on. So like Maddie said, the song is on YouTube. I'm sure there's other places you can find it, but you need a phone, an iPod, a computer, laptop, really anything that you can just look up the song on. And then for the second developmental activity, the plank sidewalk, once again, just need space to move. So space to complete the activity. It doesn't matter if you're inside, outside, just a flat surface would be best. Also, if you prefer a soft surface, that's totally optional. You can use a mat or carpet, anything that makes you comfortable and makes this activity easier for you. And then next we're gonna go through a demonstration, and Danielle is just gonna walk us through it.
Okay, one thing I do want to point out is when I do this demo, I am on a carpeted surface. However, as you can see, I am wearing shorts, and I do mention in the video that I recommend doing this with longer pants on. It wasn't per se like uncomfortable. I didn't get rug burn, but obviously there's no need for you to like purposefully inflict pain on yourself. So if you have the mat, use the mat. If you have long pants, wear the long pants. I don't know why I didn't. And obviously just make it as comfortable as it can be for you. So we do have a video here of the demos for you. Again, for the Sally, pull it up on YouTube. For the plank walks, just do what you can with the space that you have.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here is the video recording for the developmental activities. The first one that I'm showing you guys is the walking side plank. To start this, all you're going to do is go into that standard high plank position, and then you're going to go ahead and take those steps to the right and steps into the left, moving the left arm and left leg at the same time. moving the right arm and right leg at the same time. For our developmental activity, we recommended that you guys do about 10 steps on each side and repeat about 2 or 3 times. I only had room for 4 steps in one direction, so I did 4, 4, 4, 4, and then 2. So however you can make it work with your space is fine. Here I'm showing you guys a way that you can modify this. So all you do is go ahead and put those knees down, and it's the same process, 10 to the left, 10 to the right. If you're doing this on a carpeted surface, I do recommend putting long pants on. It would probably help prevent that rug burn a little bit, but you got to make do with what you got. Our next developmental activity is the Sally. So all you're going to do for this one is get into that high plank position and just listen to the lyrics of the song to let you know when you go up and when you come down.
One thing that I did not mention in that video is that, as you saw, I switched to modified a few reps in just to show you guys a visual demonstration of both. However, feel completely free to challenge yourself and do this test in the male standard position. And then when you get tired, switch to the modified version. If you can't make it through the whole song, you can't make it through the whole song. It's no big deal. Just do as you can. So next we're going to go into redoing the ACSM push-up test after you've performed the developmental activities.
Okay, so like she said, it's awesome if you can redo the test after you perform the developmental activities. What could happen is you could see that your results may improve. So the developmental activities can actually like help strengthen your upper body. And when it does strengthen your upper body, it will make the test easier for you. So it's always smart to try it again and see if you improved or if you stayed the same and see where you lie on those normative values. So next we will look at the normative values again.
So once again, we're going to be looking at the 20 to 29 categories since this is the most relevant to us. And once again, the excellent standard for men is 36. The excellent standard for women is 30. The very good standard for men is 35, 29 for women. The good standard is 28 for men, 20 for women. The fair standard is 21 for men, 14 for women. And then the needs improvement is 16 repetitions for men, 9 for women. And once again, as you grow older, there is a decline, but the test does adapt to the aging process, and you can continue to track this for a lifetime. So if you do the test now and you want to track yourself when you turn 30, this would be a great test to test your upper body strength for a lifetime. Next, we're going to go into our cool down and kind of how we just relax from this test and how we just, lower the heart rate and just get ready to recover from the test.
Okay, so as you can see, we are going to get kicked off in a minute. However, I do just want to mention to you guys that the cool down video is also posted on YouTube. If you want to watch it, all you have to do is search cool down teaching day 2, and it will pop up under my YouTube account, Daniel Lannon. But real quick, that cool down is just some slow arm circles. You guys saw that from the warm up, some cross body stretches, overhead stretches, and then a few yoga poses to stretch out those abdominal muscles. And then the same thing that we did last time, that seal stretch to a down dog stretch, finishing it off with the child's pose. So we are going to go ahead and skip that cool down video. But as I said, if you just go to YouTube and search cool down teaching day 2, It is on my YouTube account, Danny Willannon, so you can find it there.
These videos.
Okay, so here.
All right.
So the take home point for muscular strength is that muscular strength is just one repetition. It's the most force and effort that